Morning, Falcons. I'm just here to give you a little bit of a math lesson. We have been working this week on identifying whether or not fractions were equivalent or the same, or they took up the same amount of space in a drawing, or they would end on the same place in a number line. Today we're going to switch a little bit and we're going to talk about making equivalent fractions, because that's something you may need to do later in life, and I'll tell you why. Like, let's say you have a cake and there's two people. Each person gets one half of the cake, but let's say two more people come over, and now you have to split it four ways. Well, you can just take that half and you can cut it in half again, and you'll have fourths. And you could find the denominator there. It tells us how many people there are. So if there are 6 people, we could make one for 3, 6, and so on. So we'll just go back through some of the things we've done already this week. 1/2 and 2/4. Remember, we can check these to see if they are equivalent by cross multiplying. 1 times 4 equals 4. 2 times 2 equals 4, and 4 equals 4. So we can put an equal sign in there. And then down here with this drawing, it's kind of the same thing. Same size drawing. We can see that the amount that's shaded is the same. We can tell that by looking at it. This one is 1/2, and this one again is 2/4. But this time we didn't even need the numbers. We didn't need to cross multiply and to find out that these are also equal. Of course, you can always write down the fractions and cross multiply and check your work. That makes teachers really happy. But again, it's 4 equals 4, so we know that that's the case. For the purpose of today's lesson, we're going to use something we've talked about before, which are unit fractions. And remember, unit fractions are fractions that have 1 in the numerator. So any fraction with 1 in the numerator is called a unit fraction. It's just that is 1 unit of the total number of units out there. So here, this is how we make an equivalent fraction, and we can do this over and over and over again and make any number of fractions. We're going to start with a unit fraction today. I've chosen this one right here, 1/2, and I'm going to work with that. So 1/2, if I want to make an equivalent fraction, I just have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, and that'll give me my answer. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now, I did this by writing it down, 1/2 times 2. You don't have to. If you can do it in your head, that's fine. We could do 1/2 times 3, and I could just say that 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. And I could do this with 4. 1/2. I can put my equal sign there, and if I'm doing both sides by 4, it's times 4 equals 4, and 2 times 4 equals 8. So all of these fractions are equivalent. 1/2 is equal to 3 6 and 4/8. What it would end up looking like if I just kind of went out like this, just to show you what the pattern ends up looking like. It looks more like this. It's 1/2, 2/4, 3 6, 4/8, 5/10, 6/12, and so on. You can see the pattern. The numerator just goes up by 1. The denominator goes up by 2 in this case. It would be different for each case. If the denominator was 4, it's going to go up by 4 each time. So let's try another one real quick. I'll give you another example to show you what I mean, and then I'll set you loose to do this yourself. We'll do 1/4 right there. So 1/4. If I multiply both by 2, I'll put an equal sign in there. Let me get rid of that real quick, that mess. Because I'm looking for equivalent fractions. If I multiply 1 times 2, I get 2. And if I multiply 4 times 2, I'm going to get 8. So 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8. Now I could do that again. I could just, right here, 1 times 3 this time equals 3, and 4 times 3 equals 12. So 1/4 equals 2/8 equals also 3/12. And I could go again and do everything times 4, and that would be 1 times 4 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. So in this case, you can see the pattern is the numerator goes up by 1, which is what I want you to see today for unit fractions, and the denominator goes up by whatever the denominator is. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So you can make these patterns to find equivalent fractions really easily. What I'm going to want you to do is just get a piece of paper at home, and I want you to do, let's go down here, I'll make it bigger. I want you to do 1/5. So remember, you're going to multiply each by 2, and then you're going to multiply each by 3, and each by 4, and it's going to go up like that. Your numerators are just going to be going up by 1s. Your denominators are going to be going up by 5s at this case. So write these down on a piece of paper, as many as you can find for 1/5, and then send it to me in a picture or in my email or something. Get it to me any which way you can.